Nothing says freedom like being fined for the color of your mailbox. Round 1. The Grass War of Glendale Inn. Glendale, Arizona, one man received a $250 fine for his lawn being too green. His HOA decided the color was unnatural and visually aggressive. Apparently, achieving perfect grass is fine, just not too perfect. The guy tried to argue that nature doesn't come with a Pantone code, but the board wasn't having it. They demanded he tone it down with earthier shades of brown. So he stopped watering entirely. Within weeks, his yard looked like the Sahara, and the HOA fined him again for not having enough green. Welcome to suburban purgatory, where you can't win, but you can definitely mow. 2. The American flag outrage. In a Florida retirement community, a 72-year-old veteran proudly hung an American flag outside his porch. His HOA said it violated the visual harmony policy because it wasn't aesthetic. They ordered him to take it down. He refused. They fined him $100 a day until he turned his front yard into a mini patriotic fortress with 12 flags, a bald eagle statue, and speakers blasting "Born in the USA" every morning at 7 a.m. The HOA backed down after national news coverage. Moral of the story: never start a petty war with a man who owns both a flagpole and a sound system. 3. The Christmas lights that broke a neighborhood. A family in Colorado decided to go all out for Christmas. 20,000 lights, a dancing Santa, and a synchronized show set to Mariah Carey. The HOA responded with a 16-page cease and desist letter citing visual pollution and unapproved festive intensity. They threatened daily fines unless the family dimmed their joy. Instead, the family doubled down, inviting the entire town to a defiance of the HOA holiday block party. Traffic backed up for miles, and local news called it the suburban standoff of the season. The HOA eventually unplugged their outrage when the mayor showed up for selfies with Santa. 4. The Trash Can Rebellion. A woman in North Carolina got slapped with a $50 fine because her trash can was visible for 12 minutes past the approved pickup window. The HOA's rule said bins must be removed no later than 1 hour after collection. Her crime? The garbage truck came late. She appealed, arguing she wasn't psychic. The HOA replied, "You are responsible for monitoring collection times." So she took it literally, set up a lawn chair, a cooler, and waited outside every trash day like it was the Macy's parade. She waved at the garbage truck each week until the HOA added a new rule banning prolonged observation of waste activity. Imagine writing that into a constitution. 5. The mailbox scandal of Maple Ridge. One homeowner dared to paint their mailbox navy blue. Not neon, not rainbow, just navy. The HOA declared it disruptive to community cohesion. They demanded it be repainted to regulation beige immediately. The owner, being a retired Navy officer, politely declined, then added gold anchors, a flag decal, and a motion sensor that played "Anchors Away" every time someone walked by. Within a week, the HOA held an emergency meeting to define what counts as patriotically hostile decor. They eventually gave up when local kids started saluting the mailbox on their way to school. 6. The basketball hoop crisis. A dad in Texas installed a small basketball hoop over his garage so his kids could play. The HOA sent a letter stating, "Sporting equipment visible from the street constitutes clutter." He removed it. Then his neighbor put up a Christmas reindeer, also technically equipment. The HOA said that was fine because it promotes seasonal spirit. So the dad put antlers on his basketball and called it festive Rudolph training. The HOA fined him $100. He paid it in pennies, delivered in a gift-wrapped box labeled "Season's Beatings." The video went viral. The HOA later revised the rule, but only after confirming that balls are not decorations. 7. The driveway showdown. A couple in California parked their pickup truck in their own driveway. Big mistake. Their HOA insisted pickups were commercial vehicles and violated the aesthetic standard. They argued it was just a Ford F-150, not a food truck. The board didn't care. So the couple turned the truck into an actual food truck, complete with a menu board and fake tacos in the window. Every morning they waved to the HOA president, shouting, "Breakfast burrito, Bob?" By the end of the week, the rule quietly disappeared from the handbook. Turns out hypocrisy is easier to swallow when it's wrapped in a tortilla. 8. The Flamingo Uprising, Florida. Of course it's Florida. A retiree placed 2 pink plastic flamingos on her lawn. The HOA declared them unauthorized livestock effigies. Yes, that was the actual term, and demanded removal. Instead, she tripled down. Every day for a month, she added 1 more flamingo. By week 3, her front yard looked like a Barbie apocalypse. People started leaving plastic birds as solidarity gifts. By week 5, the HOA president resigned after admitting, "The birds have won." The flamingos stayed. The neighborhood newsletter simply called it the Great Plastic Rebellion of 22. 9. The invisible fence fiasco. A man in Nevada installed an invisible dog fence. The HOA fined him for unapproved perimeter modifications. He explained, patiently, that it was invisible. Their reply: all fences, visible or otherwise, require prior written approval. He asked how he was supposed to submit a diagram for something you can't see. They said, use your imagination. So he mailed them a blank piece of paper labeled Invisible Fence Application. They fined him again for mocking the board. He framed both fines on his wall under the caption, "My dog understands property, writes better than you do." 10. The Patriot Garden Incident. A woman planted a small vegetable garden in her front yard. Tomatoes, basil, the whole suburban dream. The HOA called it an unauthorized agricultural installation. She argued it was literally just food. They countered that visible vegetables degrade visual harmony, so she turned it into a full-blown patriotic victory garden, complete with flags, a sign quoting "WTO propaganda," and a small statue of Uncle Sam holding a cucumber. When the story hit local news, the HOA tried to claim they supported freedom. She printed that quote on a sign next to the zucchini. The garden stayed. The tomatoes thrived. The HOA wilted. 11. The trash can surveillance state. In an especially paranoid HOA in Colorado, a man was fined for improper can placement. The bins were supposed to face the street handle side in. He argued that trash collection efficiency shouldn't be an aesthetic concern. The HOA disagreed, so they sent compliance inspectors to take photos of cans weekly. He retaliated by drawing googly eyes and smiles on every bin in the neighborhood. Within days, the streets were filled with cheerful, anthropomorphic trash cans grinning at the inspectors. Parents loved it. The HOA banned decorative enhancements. The next week, he painted the cans' smiles upside down. The revolution continues. 12. The garage door apocalypse. A Colorado family decided to paint a mural on their garage. Mountains, sunset, beautiful scene. Their HOA said it violated the rule against expressive surfaces. Expressive, as in no art, color, or personality allowed. They ordered the mural painted over immediately. The family complied, sort of. They repainted the entire garage gray, except for a small square in the center where they wrote, in plain Helvetica font, "This is art." Within a week, every garage door in the neighborhood had the same message. The HOA sent 40 violation notices in one day, then quietly gave up. You can silence color, but you can't silence sarcasm. 13. The bird feeder. Cold War. A retired couple in Virginia hung a simple bird feeder outside their porch. Within a week, they got a letter from the HOA titled, I swear I'm not making this up, Unauthorized Avian Attraction. Apparently, feeding birds violated the Wildlife Feeding Ordinance because it encouraged non-paying tenants. The couple removed the feeder for about a day. Then they replaced it with a full-scale bird bistro. They added a sign that said, Open daily, all species welcome, and started naming the birds. Steve the Cardinal got his own Instagram. When the HOA threatened more fines, the couple claimed the birds were emotional support visitors. The local news picked up the story, dubbing it the Bird Feeder Rebellion. Moral of the story, never start a turf war with people who own binoculars, free time, and zero patience for nonsense. 14. The fence that offended the wind. In a quiet California suburb, a homeowner built a small decorative fence around her flower bed. White picket, 2 feet tall, practically invisible. The HOA sent a letter claiming it violated the neighborhood's wind flow aesthetic. That's right, the wind had rights. They argued the fence disrupted natural breezes crucial to harmonious airflow. She laughed. They fined her, so she built more fences. Soon, her yard had 42 tiny fences arranged in weird geometric patterns. The HOA called an emergency meeting. She showed up dressed like a medieval knight, holding a toy sword, declaring herself Duchess of Pennsylvania. The board adjourned early. They never mentioned airflow again. Sometimes the best way to win is to be just 1 degree weirder than your enemy. 15. The color beige conspiracy. In Arizona, a man decided to repaint his house from regulation sand to desert sunrise, a color that, and this is true, was 2 shades darker. The HOA fined him $500 for chromatic aggression. They said it clashed with the neutral harmony of the block. The man appealed. They rejected it, saying beige was part of the community identity. So he painted everything beige: his car, mailbox, fence, even his doghouse. Then he set up a sign that said, "Behold, harmony." The neighbors found it hilarious. The HOA, less so. They banned monotone exaggeration in a new amendment. Imagine living in a neighborhood where too much compliance becomes rebellion. That's beige irony at its finest. 16. The gnome insurrection. Every HOA has a line, and for one couple in Oregon, that line was shaped like a 14-inch garden gnome. Their HOA declared gnomes non-compliant statuary. They cited Rule 14.2, no whimsical figurines visible from public areas. The couple complied. Creatively, they built an entire gnome sanctuary behind the fence, complete with 47 gnomes, solar lights, and a sign that said no humans beyond this point. But then, tragedy struck. One gnome escaped and appeared mysteriously near the HOA president's mailbox. Then another. Within a week, every board member's yard had a new ceramic visitor. No one ever saw who placed them, but the HOA quietly deleted Rule 14.2 the next month. They say you can't fight City Hall, but apparently you can annoy it into surrender with small, pointy hats. 17. The pool float massacre. Summer in Florida. A family fills their pool with giant inflatable flamingos, a unicorn, and a floating pizza slice. The HOA strikes again, declaring the floats unsanctioned aquatic decor. The letter read like a war declaration. All inflatables must be approved for size, shape, and thematic appropriateness. The family responded by hosting a pool float funeral. They invited neighbors, played sad violin music, and gave eulogies for each float as they sank them ceremonially. Dozens of residents showed up with their own inflatables, dolphins, donuts, dinosaurs, forming a colorful rebellion. The HOA called the cops, who showed up, saw the chaos, and laughed too hard to do anything. The next day, the HOA dropped the rule, and thus ended the Great Pool Float Massacre, proof that laughter is the HOA's only natural predator. 18. The Welcome Mat War. A newlywed couple in South Carolina placed a cute welcome mat on their porch that said, "Come back with tacos." Harmless, right? The HOA didn't think so. They claimed the mat encouraged inappropriate solicitation behavior and violated the decorum of the entrance aesthetic. They actually used the phrase decorum of the entrance. The couple refused to remove it. So the HOA escalated, sending 3 official warnings, 2 fines, and a cease and desist letter that could have doubled as bad poetry. The couple retaliated with an arsenal of new mats. Go away, HOA, beware of bureaucracy. And finally, welcome to the danger zone, complete with a motion sensor that played Kenny Loggins every time someone approached. By month's end, half the neighborhood joined the mat protest. The HOA tried to ban all welcome mats entirely, which sparked a front porch uprising. Someone even made t-shirts. In the end, the HOA quietly surrendered. The final mat they approved said, "This is why aliens don't visit us." 19. The patriotic mailbox mutiny. In Ohio, a retired veteran installed a mailbox shaped like an eagle. The HOA struck fast, saying it violated visual uniformity. He pointed out that the rulebook said nothing about bird-shaped mail receptacles. They countered with a quote about artistic disruption, so he leaned in. He painted it red, white, and blue. Then he added a speaker that played the bald eagle screech every time the mail arrived. His neighbors loved it. The HOA did not. They sent inspectors daily. Eventually, the man hosted a Mailbox Independence Day barbecue, inviting the local paper. When the story hit front-page news, the HOA suddenly issued a statement saying they support the expression of American pride. The veteran sent them a thank you letter, delivered, of course, by Eagle. 20. The garage sale that broke the system. In a tidy Arizona subdivision, a woman hosted a small Saturday garage sale. The HOA fined her $200 because she didn't apply for an event permit, so she applied for one. and they denied it, saying garage sales weren't aligned with neighborhood values. She decided to test that theory. The next weekend, she hosted the HOA permitted event, complete with banners, snacks, and items priced in sarcastic amounts like $4.01 and $19.99. Neighbors flooded in. She sold everything. The HOA sent another violation notice. She framed it, auctioned it at her next sale, and made $60. By the third weekend, her lawn was a full marketplace. Kids selling lemonade, dads trading tools, someone even barbecuing hot dogs. It looked like a suburban carnival. When the HOA president showed up to shut it down, the crowd applauded him like a guest of honor. He turned around and left in silence. The following month, the HOA handbook mysteriously changed. Garage sales permitted once per quarter. Translation, she won. 21. The curtain scandal. A family in Utah installed bright yellow curtains in their living room, visible from the street. Within 48 hours, they received a violation letter claiming non-approved window treatments. Apparently, only neutral tones were allowed, so as not to disrupt neighborhood tranquility. The family decided to test that tranquility. They replaced the yellow curtains with rainbow ones, then leopard print, then a massive tapestry of Nicolas Cage's face. Each time, the HOA sent new fines. Finally, the family covered the entire window with a curtain printed with the words, "This is beige to us." The HOA president nearly exploded. They called an emergency meeting, but by then, 10 other houses had joined the Cage Curtain movement. The neighborhood looked like an art exhibit curated by chaos. The rule was eventually dropped for community morale. The family celebrated with a new set of curtains, this time plain black, with tiny white letters spelling "Victory Achieved." 22. The parking spot. Showdown. In Texas, a man parked his car on the street overnight instead of in his garage. The HOA fined him $75 for unauthorized curbside display. He explained his garage was full of tools and his car was parked legally. The HOA refused to budge, so he took it nuclear. He wrapped his car in Christmas lights and hung a banner that said, "Behold, unauthorized display." The street glowed brighter than the local mall. Cars slowed down just to stare. Someone filmed it, and within 48 hours, the video hit TikTok with millions of views. The HOA got flooded with national ridicule. They eventually withdrew the fine to preserve community image. The man responded by adding one final decoration, a light-up sign that said, "Free parking for common sense." 23. The Fountain of Madness, our grand mid-tier finale. A dentist in California installed a small stone fountain in his front yard, the kind that trickles gently and sounds like a spa commercial. The HOA accused him of violating the Auditory Tranquility Clause, claiming the fountain's burbling water was emotionally disruptive. They demanded its removal, so he complied, sort of. He replaced it with a 6-foot replica of Michelangelo's David, holding a garden hose. The water sprayed 10 feet into the air. He called it David and the HOA Lieth. People came from nearby towns just to take photos. The HOA lost its mind, calling it an obscene and public act of defiance. He pointed out that the HOA's own bylaws didn't mention statues, only fountains. The board tried to fine him anyway, but their lawyer reportedly advised against it because, quote, "This man is legally untouchable and extremely creative." The fountain-turned art piece stayed. To this day, his driveway plaque reads, "Dedicated to the pursuit of petty freedom." 24. The flagpole that touched the sky and someone's ego. In a sleepy Florida retirement village, a veteran installed a 25-foot flagpole in his yard. He got permission for it, but the HOA president, a self-proclaimed guardian of visual proportion, decided it was too patriotic. They said it disrupted skyline cohesion. The man politely told them where they could file their cohesion. The HOA fined him $250 a day. He refused to take it down. Soon, local news picked up the story. Supporters started mailing flags to him, hundreds of them. He began flying a different flag every day. POW flags, Navy flags, one that said, "Don't tread on me unless you're the HOA." Eventually, the fines reached $20,000, but the community rallied and crowdfunded the whole thing. The HOA folded faster than a lawn chair in a hurricane. The flag still stands. The HOA president moved out. The new homeowners renamed the street Freedom Lane. True story. Pettiness sometimes flies higher than patriotism. 25. The solar panel scandal. A couple in Nevada decided to go green and install solar panels. The HOA wasn't impressed. They claimed the panels made the roof look industrial and didn't align with the community's suburban charm. The couple countered that saving money and the planet was charming. The HOA disagreed, issuing weekly fines for roofline violations. So the couple fought back with genius-level spite. They connected their solar system to power their Christmas decorations. We're talking full Clark Griswold, thousands of lights, synchronized music, and a glowing banner that read, "Fueled by HOA disapproval." Their house lit up like the surface of the sun, visible from space, probably. After 2 nights of blinding radiance, the HOA dropped the issue, citing environmental fatigue. They still send newsletters about responsible energy aesthetics, but the couple just keeps charging their Tesla off pure irony. 26. The Lawn of Eternal Judgment. A single mom in Georgia decided she was done with mowing, watering, and fighting crabgrass, so she replaced her front yard with artificial turf. Clean, green, low maintenance. The HOA called it synthetic blasphemy. They said fake grass devalued organic aesthetics. She argued that real grass devalues her sanity. They fined her $500 a week. She refused to pay. Then something magical happened. Her neighbors copied her. One by one, lawns turned artificial. Within 2 months, the entire block looked perfect, all the time. The HOA tried to fine everyone, but the collective revolt was unstoppable. Eventually, the board changed its tone, declaring artificial turf environmentally visionary. She framed the original violation letter and hung it by her front door under a sign that said, "In memory of wasted weekends." 27. The backyard chicken coop, literally. In Oregon, a family bought 3 hens for fresh eggs. The HOA sent a furious notice: unauthorized farm animals. They explained these weren't livestock, they were pets with names. The HOA didn't care, so the family lawyered up. Their argument? The rule banned roosters, not hens. The board panicked and tried to rewrite it mid-meeting. Too late. Then came the PR disaster. The kids made a TikTok series called Cluck You HOA. It went viral. Suddenly the chickens had merch. People started showing up for Meet the Hens weekends. A local news crew covered it as a suburban standoff between freedom and feathers. The HOA folded faster than a picnic chair in a hurricane, issuing a statement that chickens are now conditionally welcome. The family celebrated by naming their new hen Victory. She lays golden eggs, metaphorically, anyway. 28. The Great Christmas Armageddon, our finale. The HOA boss battle. The holiday horror story to end them all. In Colorado, a neighborhood banned all inflatable holiday decor exceeding 6 feet in height. One man, an engineer with too much free time and a deep hatred of hypocrisy, decided to test that limit. He built a 6-foot-tall inflatable Santa, standing on top of a 6-foot-tall inflatable reindeer. Total height, 12 glorious feet. The HOA fined him instantly. He paid in pennies. Then, the next night, the entire neighborhood joined him. Suddenly, there were inflatable elves on roofs, Santas parachuting from chimneys, even a full 18-foot Frosty flipping off the rulebook. The HOA called the police. The cops arrived, took one look at the scene, laughed, and took selfies with Frosty. The HOA president resigned 2 days later. A week after that, the town held a parade in honor of Freedom Santa. By the end, the HOA was left with nothing but broken rules, dented egos, and one neighborhood united by pure, glorious pettiness. And there you have it, 28 dumbest HOA complaints ever recorded. Proof that humans crave power so badly, they'll weaponize landscaping. So, which one deserves the gold medal for stupidity? The flamingos? The mat war? Freedom Santa? Tell me in the comments. And remember, if your HOA ever tells you to maintain aesthetic harmony, just smile, grab a plastic gnome, and let chaos bloom. Because in the suburbs, rebellion isn't loud, it's landscaped.